Welcome back, all. I think we're on day 9 now of my attachment style series that I'm running until the end of this year. And today I really want to talk about dismissive avoidance and their core wounds. And in fact, actually, I'm going to talk about one core wound in particular, and that is that my needs don't matter. Now, the same as all the other insecure attachment styles, dismissive avoidance have a lot of different core wounds. But one of the ones that I come across a fair amount of the time is my needs don't matter. I don't matter. I have to look after myself. I can't rely on anyone else. So, and dismissive avoidance are one of the most misunderstood attachment styles I find. Everybody thinks they're cold, they're unfeeling, they're cruel, and they get such a bad rep, especially now that everybody is some sort of attachment style guru these days, without actually having studied or qualified in the knowledge for it to back it up. Um, so if you've ever been told you're emotionally unavailable, or you've loved someone who seems distant or shut down, then this one is for you, basically. Because beneath that cool exterior isn't someone who doesn't care. Not at all. Dismissive avoidance do deeply care. It's someone who's learned very early on that their needs don't matter. Their needs don't matter. That's a wound. That's not a choice. That's a wound, not a choice. So if you're someone who finds closeness overwhelming, or you pull away just when things start to get, serious, then this video might hit home for you a little bit. So when we look at dismissive avoidant attachment, what we're really seeing is a nervous system that learned to survive by shutting down feelings, essentially. It often starts in childhood. It can develop at any time in life, but it often starts in childhood when emotional expression wasn't safe or didn't feel safe. So maybe a child cried and was told to stop being dramatic. Stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Or maybe they reached out for comfort and were ignored or met with irritation. Or maybe their caregivers were physically present but emotionally distant, kind perhaps, but unavailable emotionally. So the child learned, needing people doesn't work. Needing people doesn't work for me. It's easier to handle things myself, alone. And over time, that became the avoidance survival strategy. They stopped reaching out. They stopped expecting emotional closeness. And they started equating independence with safety without actually realizing that independence in that what they thought of as independence was actually extreme independence, not the safe kind. So in adult relationships, sorry, my throat is still going. I'm still recovering, which is why I'm still dressed like a pleb. So in adult relationships, that wound can show up as feeling smothered when someone gets too close to them, or avoiding deep or emotional conversations because that doesn't feel very safe. It makes them deeply uncomfortable. It could be needing space after conflict instead of comfort. In fact, we see that a lot with dismissive avoidance. They tend to disappear when things get too much, especially when conflict is involved. Um, these are the people who are most likely to ghost you. So they may downplay their own pain or emotions, or they'll brush yours off. So, and what looks like emotional detachment on the outside to us, to people who are not dismissive avoidant, what looks like emotional detachment on the outside is actually emotional self-protection on the inside. The avoidant person isn't trying to hurt you. And this is something I cannot say often enough. I say it all the time, every day, numerous times a day. I'm telling people dismissive avoidants are not monsters. They are not setting out to hurt you. They're not. People will tell you all sorts of shit about dismissive avoidance. They're cruel, they're mean, they're emotionally retarded, whatever it is. The avoidant person isn't trying to hurt you. They do not wake up in the morning and think, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cause pain emotionally to the person that I care about the most. They don't do that. They don't do that. So they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to stay safe in the only way they know how, and that is by staying in control. By staying in control. Control is their safety net. So I always say, I mean, I talk about dismissive avoidance and talk to dismissive avoidance every single day. It's one of the things that I talk to people most about. And I always say avoidants don't hate intimacy. There's this idea that avoidants hate the idea of love or being in love or being loved, and they hate intimacy. They don't. They don't hate intimacy. They just want to know where the nearest exit is, just in case. That's it. That's it. Self-preservation. They just want to know where the nearest exit is, just in case. So, to give you an example, I was once talking to a lady who said to me during the course of our conversations, she said, I don't need anyone. I've always handled my own problems by myself. I don't need anyone else. But as we dug deeper, and she was really set on that, I don't need anyone. I'm better off alone. But as we dug deeper, she admitted something really honest to me. She said, the truth is, I do want someone to lean on. I really desperately want to believe that I can lean on someone else. I just don't trust they'll be there when I need them most. I just don't trust that they'll be there when I need them most. And that's the core of it, isn't it? That's the core of it. It's not about not wanting love. It's about not trusting that love will stay, that it's dependable, that it won't leave them. That's what it's really about with dismissive avoidance. And I think most of us can relate to this. I know I can. I can relate to this too, although I'm not a dismissive avoidant. I was an anxious attacher, anxious, preoccupied. Excuse me, my throat is going. In my anxious years, I used to think people with avoidant attachment were really cold, sometimes cruel. But over time, and through a lot of conversations and a lot of study, and actually qualifying as an attachment therapist, um, I realized they're not cold at all. They're really not. They're cautious. There's a difference. They're not cold, they're cautious. Excuse me. They learned that needing others meant disappointment 9 times out of 10. Needing somebody else would lead to them being disappointed or hurt. So they built independence as like armor, as a shield against that disappointment and that hurt. Nobody wants to feel hurt normally, so we do the best that we can to protect ourselves. And this is how a dismissive avoidant protects themselves. And when you've spent your whole life holding it together on your own, completely, fiercely, unhealthily independent, letting someone in can feel absolutely terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. It's like, what if I open up and they leave? Or worse, what if I need them and they can't handle it? So if you're avoidant, I see you. I totally see you. That independence isn't arrogance, it's self-protection. I understand that. Many may not, but I do, certainly. And a healing avoidant attachment, dismissive avoidant attachment, doesn't mean becoming dependent, by the way. You don't need to become dependent on somebody else. It means learning that it's safe to depend sometimes. Don't have to be completely dependent on somebody, just sometimes. That's all. It's learning to say, I don't have to do everything alone. My needs matter too, and it's safe for me to be seen. That's what it's about. You heal by slowly, gently allowing closeness in. Maybe you ask for help, or you express a feeling or an emotion that you wouldn't normally feel comfortable doing, or you stay in connection instead of shutting down when there's conflict or something that makes you uncomfortable. Little things. It doesn't have to be something big, just a little thing. Little thing. Maybe once a day or so, when the opportunity comes up, something that would make you feel uncomfortable or nervous, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? And every time you do that, you're teaching your nervous system that vulnerability doesn't equal danger. Tell that person you miss them. I bet it'll make them feel good. I don't think you'll be hurt if you do. You know, need a bit of help, even with something tiny. Help stacking the dishwasher. Ask for it. I bet you won't be turned down. When something makes you uncomfortable, when you're arguing, maybe you're in a conflict, maybe you're having a disagreement, instead of running, why don't you just sit there and say, look, give me a moment and then I will come back to this. Give me a moment just to calm myself down and then I will talk to you. These little things will be the start of your healing journey, moving you from this dismissive avoidant attachment style into a secure one. You will be happier. So here's your reflection for today, because I love doing these things. Can you, hmm, can you remember a time you wanted to reach out for comfort, but didn't? Can you remember a time you wanted to reach out for comfort, but didn't? And if you can, and I'm sure you can, if you can't, I think you're probably lying to yourself. But if you can, what stopped you? And what would it have felt like if it had been safe to ask? And that's the real crux of it. If you had reached out for comfort in that moment, what would it have felt like if it had been safe for you to ask, if that comfort had been available to you? How good would that have felt? Pretty fucking amazing, I would imagine. So healing starts with that kind of awareness. That's where it really starts. Because avoidant attachment isn't emotional coldness. Everyone will tell you it is. Everyone will tell you it is, but it's not really. It isn't emotional coldness, it's emotional self-protection. Not the best type of self-protection, but that's what you're trying to do. You learn to survive without your needs being met. You learn to survive by being fiercely independent to an unhealthy level. But now you get to learn that your needs do matter, and you do not need to be so fiercely independent. You can still be independent, just be a bit dependent sometimes. Start small. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if this resonates with you, save it, share it, or tag someone who might need to hear it, whatever. It all works for me. And I love to hear from you guys. So if you have any thoughts, any comments, anything like that, even if you don't want to say it publicly, my inbox is always open. I love talking to people. So, you know, what else have I got to do? I'm disabled in bed and now I've got a chest infection I'm trying to get over. So, you know, give me something to do, guys. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Just remember, real strength isn't never needing anyone. It's being brave enough to let someone in. And that's me done for today. I shall see you again tomorrow. Take care all. Bye.